Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for having you, and congratulations, by the way. There's a special appointment, almost equivalent of a minister. What do you feel with this appointment and then meeting Mr. President today?
Well, it's quite pleasing. It's a privilege for both myself and my DG, who is also here, to have this huge responsibility to manage the emotions, I think, and the happiness of Nigerians. So we have over 200 Nigerians that are looking up to us to perform, so that they can be happy, so that they can have the excitement and the productivity that comes with having the sports running very well. So it's quite exciting, and but it's a good burden. It's a very big burden, which we have to make sure we deliver, because from the response, we can see everybody in Nigeria believes in what we are doing. Everybody in Nigeria thank Mr. President and agree with him that this is one appointment or 3 appointments that he has got very, very correctly. So we are condemned to make sure that we deliver much, much more than expected. Yes, we just have a first brief with Mr. President. The purpose is to brief him on the work we have done so far since the commission has come, and then also make suggestions and proposals of the steps that we need to be taken to perfect the vision and the objectives. Number 1, which is clearly to work to create a sports economy in Nigeria, is one of the vision of Mr. President, and then have a proper sport development on ground. Then we can go to the level of winning medals and laurels. Also, we discussed the issue of our World Cup qualification, the issue of the promises to the Super Eagles that has been made, that has to be delivered so that they can get motivated to do that. We have agreed on some strategies to see how we can support and collaborate with the NFF to push to see how we can qualify to the World Cup. We also submitted, discussed a clear framework and details of how to activate the sports economy in Nigeria and what steps need to be taken, what kind of legislation need to be put in place, and what kind of engagement the government would do, and what kind of engagement the private sector would do. So it's just one of first of many conversation, because as you're aware, the Sports Commission reports directly to the desk of the President. So we will be regular visitors here to make sure that we put the Mr. President in the loop exactly what we are doing and what support we need and what intervention we need to get things done. We'll also discuss the issue of a National Sports Festival as well, which is also something that is on the burner. It's our own local Olympics. So which we're going to have about 15,000 athletes across the country that will converge in Ogun State to get things done. So it's a wide range of conversation. We cannot thank Mr. President enough for giving us this time to sit down and analyze and discuss this, and it's a very, very engaging meeting. Mr. President is well in the loop of what is happening in the sport industry in this country, beyond what people think.
What are you going to do differently in the commission?
Yeah, apart from that, you have mentioned strategies, and Nigerians, of course, have been saying that we have so much potential to be where we are across the world. So, like my colleague just mentioned, we don't have enough time to get all the issues from you. What specifically do you want to do to jumpstart this?
Well, you see, the foundation of what we are going to do rests on like three pillars. You know, because we are to turn around the entire ecosystem of sports in Nigeria to do things differently. We have what we call the 3 Rs. That we have to reset our thinking. You know, to reset our thinking, and we have to refocus what we are doing, and we have to relaunch the sports in this country. Resetting our thinking, meaning that Nigeria has been focused more on competitions for many years, which we see competitions and foreign trips and everything as consumption. We have to go back to development, which is production. We have to make sure that the internal ecosystem of sports work. So that is the new things we are trying to do differently. Second one, we have to refocus and be deliberate about what we are doing. So we have to decide clearly what is the pathway we are taking to move forward. What kind of legislation we need to put in place to activate the system. What kind of incentives we need to put in place to be able to attract the private sector to support the growth of sport in this country. We have to do that. And then fundamentally part of that is what we are telling Mr. President is to declare sports as a national asset. Sports should be our national asset, so which means it's a special agenda and must be entitled to special concessions, special privileges, and special legislations, executive orders to get things done properly. That has to be done. And then above that, we have to relaunch what we are doing, which means we have to clean our image. We have to make sure we do things differently. We have to be positive at all times so that we can get the entire country. The same way people in the entire country accepted the appointments of 3 of us into run these sports in this country and are supporting this, aligning to the vision. So the same thing we want as we are doing the reforms and setting the frameworks, people should also key in behind us and support what we are doing. At the end of the day, the final outcome will be very, very special. We have a target of what we want to achieve. Sports should be part of the GDP. At least should be 3% of GDP. We have to see how many people we are putting to jobs. We are targeting about 3 million people over the next 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years. That we can say they are being employed through sports, both directly, indirectly, and induced employment. We have to be very good in development that we can be able to compete at any level. We have to control the market, sports market in the world, where we can take talent abroad and earn dollars back to the country and develop the country. We have to work on our infrastructure to make sure that we have our infrastructures working. Every zone in the country should have at least a very good infrastructure that can be able to support sports development. And as you know, sport is our national unity. Once we are playing sports, there is no, all our deficits, all our differences are forgotten. It's something that bind us together. So we should take it much, much, much seriously, because with that in place, we can be able to achieve much, much more through the productivity that we can unlock through that process.
You mentioned it, the NFF issue and football, and the immediate result people will want to get from you now will be qualification for World Cup. As we speak, the Super Eagles do not have any substantial or substantive coach. So what are you doing to ensure that is done?
It's all part of the conversation that we had now with Mr. President, and brief him on clearly the situation and what needs to be done. And I think in a couple of weeks, you can see the steps that will be taken by both Mr. President and both us at the Commission and both when the NFF will be driving towards getting all this resolved and everything perfected, so that by March, when we resume, the Super Eagles will be 100% focused on just deliver the result. Well, it's not in our hands, but we have to do the best that we can to make sure that we give it the best shot, win our last 6 matches and see where that takes us, which surely should be the World Cup.
Yeah, I wish you well.
Thank you very much.
God bless you.